Hello, Richard here from DVS Chesterfield. I've been asked a couple of times to do a bit of a video showing you how to check for leaks on your Arms S410 series. This one I've got here is an Arms S410 Classic. I've already done a full service on this, new seals, cleaned everything up inside and made it look nice and spick and span. Basically, if you take off the stock, that one bolt there, undo that, stock slides off, take your scope off, don't need that one. And what we're going to be looking at is the gaps between the air cylinder and the valve body, the gap underneath the breech block where the transfer port is, inside the end where the pellet probe goes through, this end of the air cylinder, and the fill valve, both the Deltry seal that goes on the bottom of the fill valve and the actual fill valve end itself. So some people use water, put a dab of water on it, make sure that everything's sealed up properly, you get no bubbles. Use a bit of oil, and by simply spraying a little dab of oil, you don't need a lot, a little drop of oil, and then work it around with your finger, you can feel if there's any air bubbles. Just have a look, make sure that there's nothing coming through. No, nothing on there. Again, on the top of the gauge body, you've got two seals on this, one that sits underneath there, one that sits up against the inside of the exhaust valve body. Put a drop of oil all the way around, make sure you've got nothing leaking out. You can see underneath the gauge body, make sure that there's nothing leaking out from underneath there. Work your way around, all the way around the outside, just check to make sure that you've got no bubbles forming. That's fine. The other bonus of using oil over water is that the oil will creep in between all the gaps, making it nice and watertight, keeping the water out. It doesn't matter if you get it all over your rifle, you can wipe the excess off afterwards. Once you've checked that end, we then move on to the fill adapter end. Again, just a little squirt of the oil, work it round, check for any air bubbles. You'll immediately see the air bubbles start coming through if you do have a gap or you do have a leak. This one shouldn't have any leaks because, as I've said, I've already done the seal on it. Now on this one, I know that there is a problem with this fill adapter. You do have a slight leak through the end, so therefore I've ordered a replacement. That'll be replaced. But again, if you just put a little drop of oil, you can see that there's no bubbles forming. Work your way around the other side, make sure that there's no bubbles. Basically, if you've got no bubbles, the air cylinder's nice and tight, you've got no leaks. Again, on the end, just a little squirt of oil, and I don't know whether you can see on there, but if you look carefully, you can just see a few little bubbles. So we know we've got an air leak coming from there. However small it is, over a period of time that leak will get bigger. You're better off changing the fill adapter, ensuring that you don't lose any air through your rifle. As I said, this one's already got the parts on order. I'm just waiting for the parts to turn up. And that's basically it. When you've done all your checking, just make sure that you wipe off all the excess oil. Give it a nice wipe over. A nice coating of oil on the outside of your rifle doesn't hurt anything. It'll protect against water egress, moisture when you put it back in your gun cabinet, in your gun case. And that's it. Now, for the barrel seal, if you cock your rifle, slide the bolt all the way back in and put your finger inside the end there. Make sure that the bolt is firmly down. You don't want it jumping back and biting you. Inside there you've got your breech seal. If you just put your finger over the end, you don't need to put a pellet in it. I'm using a bit of cloth on the end of the barrel to provide a little bit of back pressure. You don't want a lot. You just want enough so you can feel if there's any blowback. So basically, if you pull the trigger, you'll be able to feel if there's any air escaping from the breech seal in there. If that's leaking, you get any blowback from it, that needs changing. Underneath here is the transfer port seal. That's already been changed. Again, with the oil that's crept beneath the breech block, if you've got any air leaking through the transfer port, when you fire it, you'll get splatter marks coming out from underneath there and there, letting you know that you've got air escaping from the transfer port seal. Quite an easy rifle to work on. You have any problems, you know where I am. You can find me on Facebook. You can also find me at my new website that I've set up for doing all air rifle servicing and repair work. Okay, take care folks, shoot safe, see you later.